let's get cracking. Hey guys, what's going on? So we're gonna pick up on what we left off on. I never got to do the Kraken cases, conspiracy files, so here it is. I made a little video for us to. It's just a little change of pace, something new. And before these people were like, "Oh look, Kim wore the same shirt." I have many of these, so I wore another one. So I wanted to do. I'm not gonna do it, but the finger between those, the read between the lines. I'm not gonna do it though. Anyway, because this is a change of pace. It's something that's interesting. I think it's fun to have a change of pace. We can do whatever we want to on whatever topic that you know we seem fit. So that's where we're gonna try to head today. I think that you'll like this. I'm gonna play this little video I made for you guys to let y'all get kind of caught up on what we're gonna be going over. So here's this. So there's that. We're going to be going into different subjects of. Okay, if you're not familiar with this, we'll give you the rundown on it. So pretty much there's been discrepancies within the Bible that says that there were giants in the earth in those days when the sons of God came down and into the daughters of men, and they bore a race of giants, mighty men of renown. Um, if you've heard of the Golden Age, when they talk about in Greece, like Zeus, or not Zeus, but I guess Zeus would be one of them, Hercules, people like this that had these humongous statures and strength and all that. But it was a time when, you know, that was complete chaos. There was not, it was bloodshed all the time. It was a bad time of living. That's Titans. Exactly killer looks. So I think that y'all will find this interesting. We're going to play it by ear. I'm going to just throw up some stuff that I find interesting. Like I said, this is a new once a week thing where we're going to do some stuff on the conspiracy files. I think it's awesome to get a change of pace every once in a while from the stuff that we've always are covering. You know what I mean? What? Oh yeah. Allie wanted me to tell y'all that she would love to be joining us right now, but she is sick. She got really sick after last night. I actually felt bad last night and went to sleep as soon as that live was over. But we're here now. Just pray that she gets better. What's up, Killer Looks? I hope you enjoyed that video, bro, that I made about the super sleuthing. Just to go over a few things. So Jody Sue was live early this morning. So I don't know what's going on with that whole ordeal, but she was live first thing this morning. I noticed at 8 o'clock. you know, I just I don't get what's going on over there, what the issues are, but she needs to get it together. She chose to enter this platform on YouTube. I have remorse, and I do know that there's different things going on between different individuals and her family. People have admitted things to be worse than what was thought before. Um, I'm talking about. I think Andy admitted to some things that were a little worse than what was prior thought. But it is what it is. We're not going to go off into that terrain right yet. So got this today. This will be the next part of it. This was thanks to somebody out there that was very awesome. It's a curved screen, so I'll have two screens to be able to look at as soon as I get all that set up. I'm excited. You know who you are. Thank you. She's right there. Thank you so much for all that you've done for us. We appreciate it so much. Anyway, so I'm going to get into the first parts of it. So, in Numbers, I'm going to pull up some stuff real quick. Let me find it. There's many references. People try to argue this, that there was, that giants weren't on the earth then. Well, first off, we're going to show what the Smithsonian did when they found these bones. This will blow your mind. Let me share my screen real quick. So this is from Gaia.com. The third conspiracy claims the Smithsonian destroys giant skeletons. Okay, so it says around the turn of the 20th century, the New York Times, London Globe, and the Scientific American published articles purporting that the discovery of gigantic human skeletons, concluding the remains who were sent to the Smithsonian for further study. But the fact is that the evidence was never again seen or reported. Continues to elicit questions of whether the Smithsonian destroys giant skeletons in order to cover up an inconvenient anomaly in the archaeological narrative we've been told. The question has been heatedly debated over the past century or more, with researchers finding what appears to be corroborating evidence, while skeptics say the bones were simply those of massive prehistoric animals, reclassified by the Smithsonian and displayed in the museum to this day. And while the physical evidence remains tenuous, there is seemingly endless trails of written and anecdotal suggestion that a large race of humans once walked the earth. A brief history of the Smithsonian. Though it may not be immediately obvious, the Smithsonian Institution is an extension of the U.S. government. With congressional members sitting on the board of regents, it was initially found as an establishment for the increase of diffusion of knowledge among men. At the endowment of philanthropist, chemist, and mineralogist James Smithson. And while it's not a regulatory agency, it is so intrinsically tied to the government that it claims immunity from state and local regulations, as well as immunity from lawsuits unless authorized by Congress. The Smithsonian was established in 1846 and was tasked with the mission of organizing an anthropological history of the United States. It is sometimes referred to as the nation's attic, and it has amassed somewhere in the range of 154 million items between its myriad museums, research centers, and various facilities. Here's just one of the stories right here. It says giant skeletons found in a cave in Mexico gives up the bones of an ancient race. Boston, May 3rd, Charles C. Clapp. It says, who has recently returned from Mexico, where he has been in charge of Thomas W. Lawson's mining interest, has called the attention of Professor Agassiz to a remarkable discovery made by him. He found in Mexico a cave containing some of 200 skeletons of men, each above 8 feet in height. The cave was evidently the burial place of a race of giants whose antedated the Aztecs. So I guess before the Aztecs. Mr. Clapp arranged the bones of one of these skeletons and found the total length to be 8 feet 11 inches. The femur reached up to his thigh, and the molars were big enough to crack a coconut. The head measured 18 inches from front to back. That was in the New York Times. But with phrases like diffusing knowledge coming from government agencies that have been influencing the course of history since the Eurocentric days of manifest destiny, one might be skeptical about what kind of knowledge was spread and which powers it served. Richard Dewhurst, the author of The Ancient Giants Who Ruled America, points to a man named John Wesley Powell, the U.S. director of. Let me make sure y'all are seeing that good. Okay. John Wesley Powell, the U.S. director of ethnology in 1879, who ran the Smithsonian in its nascent years. In his research, Dewhurst uncovered what he refers to as the Powell Doctrine, a paper issued on behalf of the Smithsonian, which issued a decree that no anthropological research should consider any talk of lost tribes henceforth, while also describing natives and uncultured as uncultured, savage, and lacking signs of higher intellect. Hence, it will be seen that it is illegitimate to use any pictographic matter of a date anterior to the discovery of the continent by Columbus for historic purposes, Powell wrote. It's unclear whether this was Powell's decision or it came from instructions on high. However, Dewhurst believes its clear manifest destiny tone led to the subsequent Smithsonian cover-up of an ancient race of giants who preceded Native Americans. Here you go. About the Smithsonian destroys giant skulls. Looking back at the newspaper clippings dating from the late 1800s into the early 1900s, Dewhurst found a multitude of instances in which citizens from disparate areas of the country uncovered massive bones of seemingly human origin. Upon reporting these discoveries, the media outlets and authorities, Dewhurst said, unsuspecting citizens would shortly receive a visit from members of the Smithsonian who wasted no time sequestering the bones, allegedly bringing them to a museum of research facility, but which were never seen again. One could also find instances of giant skulls and skeletons in local papers with pictures to boot. Take, for instance, the photo from the San Antonio Press showing a giant skull next to two normal skulls right here. This is what they were finding. That is insane. Now they say that these giants have double rows of teeth. So on the inside of their mouth, they have double rows. And they had 6 fingers and 6 toes on each hand and foot, which was, a genetic thing that came from, it talks about it back into the Bible days, and they say before, when the flood took out all of the giants in the world, that they still managed to be. They said they were on the days before and after that. There's a verse in Numbers in the Bible that says that when the men came into the land of Canaan, that they stood as grasshoppers to the other to the people that lived in that land. It's insane. I hope y'all find this interesting. Thank y'all for being here. It's something that is very interesting to me. Don Cameron, exactly. She said, I've read the giants had those elongated skulls too, right? Yeah, we'll get to that in Peru. They have, and it wasn't even just, they don't have the suture. We have two lines that hold our skulls together. The suture, the, uh, these giant skulls are lacking one of those. I think it's the one that runs crossways on our head. This is crazy stuff, and I believe you'll find it interesting when I get to the point of where I'm going to with this, because there's stuff around the world right now that, oh, thank you, Versity Dorset. I appreciate that so much. Um, there's things that show today that they didn't just destroy these bones. I know nobody in Bulgaria. Anyway, that you'll find that they didn't destroy these bones. There's things that where they have been pulling DNA out of them. I'm going to show you a story from what happened in the last war we just had with Afghanistan and Iraq. That whole thing we just now, I don't even want to say we came out of, but where we pulled troops out of, it was called the Kandahar Giant. We're going to get to the story about that too. It's insane. But let me finish right here with this. So it says it's worth mentioning that at this time period when these skeletal remains were found was drastically different from today. Yellow journalism was rampant, even for some of the publications we might consider more esteemed. Religion was also a dominating factor in many people's lives, and attempts to find literal instances of biblical stories was higher sought after. This has become one of the primary arguments against these accounts, and naysayers believe people created counterfeit skeletons or confused the bones of prehistoric megafauna and large animals for humans, hoping they had found proof in the existence of the Nephilim of the Old Testament. I believe that it adds more to the Bible now because of what we have found. And well, if this was to have been proven true, what it, or if they would have put it into mainstream science, they would have to rewrite the whole history of evolution, everything. Um, it was a big deal. So it says giants discovered throughout the world. The U.S. is not the only country in which these alleged giants of antiquity are said to have been found. In fact, there are accounts dating back several millennia which speak of encounters with living giants or the relics hinting at their existence. So here's a little bit about the relics. Most of these giants that they would find, they were red hair. They would have long red hair, like I said, double digits in teeth, 6 fingers, 6 toes, and they had copper iron, not copper iron, but copper armor on them, copper swords, things well above, uh, you know, the primitive humans' weapon. They were very more advanced. So it says, in the world's largest prehistoric copper mine in Wales, there are accounts of the discovery of thousands of massive sledgehammers, alleged to weigh somewhere in the range of 60 pounds. Whether there's any validity to this assertion is debatable, though if true would require a larger-than-life human with incredible strength to have worked the mine and wielded such a tool. The average sledgehammer today rarely weighs more than 20 pounds. This repository known as the Great Orm Mine, or the Stonehenge of copper mining, dates back some 3,500 years ago. And another more well-known instance of alleged giants comes from the writings of Ferdinand Magellan's chronicler Antonio Pigafetta, who wrote of a giant race upon discovering Patagonia. One day we suddenly saw a naked man of giant stature on the shore of the port, dancing, singing, and throwing dust on his head, Pigafetta wrote. The captain general sent one of our men to the giant so that he might perform the same action as a sign of peace. Having done that, the man led the giant to an inlet where the captain and general was waiting. When the giant was in the captain and general and our presence, he marveled greatly and made signs with one finger raised upward, believing we had come from the sky. He was so tall that we reached only to his waist, and he was well proportioned. According to the writings of Pigafetta, Magellan and crew attempted to return to Italy with two of the giants they had encountered, though they were unable to survive the long trip back across the Atlantic. Skeptics say that people referred to in these accounts were likely members of the, I cannot say that, Tehelche, a native tribe that may have stood slightly larger in stature due to the strength required to survive in Patagonia's harsh climate. You good? I know. Yes, I was making sure you were okay. Here, sit back because that might help you.
No, it doesn't matter how I sit. I can't breathe.
It says, according to the writings of Pigafetta, Magellan and crew attempted to return to Italy with two of the giants, but they couldn't make it back across. Skeptics, let me get caught back up here, due to the strength required to survive Patagonia's harsh climate, though it's questionable whether they were much larger in height than the average human. But there are, in fact, numbers of photographs from the late 1800s showing members of the one tribe that inhabited the Tierra del Fuego region of Patagonia who clearly stood significantly taller than most humans, 6.5 foot tall women and men well over 7 feet. There's a picture right there. So there is many stories to this. They had shrunk over time from the Bible. Now they said that's why we have the many tribes that were listed in the Bible. We'll get to that. It says the account has also been called into question, as some say it may have simply been an instance of giantism, with subsequent reports embellished as to make Magellan's travels sound more exciting. However, this account was later confirmed by English explorer James Byron, whose story of encountering a race of 9-foot giants in Patagonia was published by the London Chronicle. Other writings from the expedition of Sir Francis Drake, Francis Fletcher, and Sir Thomas Cavendish also reported towering Patagonians and their deceased bodies. Could these native tribes corroborate the questionable stories of ancient European explorers? Still skeptical about the alleged existence of giants and humans on Earth? Check out this documentary, A Race of Giants. Okay, so hold on. I'm going to come back over here real quick and add something. So, this is pretty interesting stuff, right? No sound. Oh, come on now. There, I know that y'all can hear me. Yeah. Let's see what people are saying. Yeah, there are videos. We're going to get to that. And that's what I'm going to show next is the Kandahar giant. This is another one I wanted to show though, real quick too. I'm going to show you pictures of Lovelock Cave. Uh, these right here are insane. Is this interesting to you guys that are here? I hope so, because I mean, if you haven't heard about it before, um, it definitely was to me. So look, and what I'm saying is, by them not destroying bones, they've said they've been trying to pull the DNA back out of these giants to recreate them. If that happens, that has been prophesied in the Bible too, that they would try to recreate the Nephilim. The Nephilim would be, if you want to go into biblical terms, would be um, the devil's attempt to to do better than God's creation on us. If you believe in creation and creationism, and if you believe in God, then that's what the fallen angels and their attempt was, to try to do better than God, to make stronger, bigger humans that could just wipe us out. But it didn't happen that way. That gets into the book of Enoch. Now I'm going to try to make this as get to the point, so we're not on here all night, because you can go on forever with this information. But I'm just going to go over, you know, the basic good stuff. Yeah, using their DNA to bring them back. That's one of the theories. I want to show you Lovelock Cave. Now, this here, Lovelock Cave, was a cave where they found the remains and of giants that were cannibals, and they had shoes, they had armor, they had swords. This is very crazy stuff right here. This is fun, man. For me, this is fun to do something different that we're not used to doing. Allie's, she's even talking about doing starting her own channel, where she can do stuff that might not be true crime all the time, but stuff that's interesting to her and other women. I think it'll be great. Okay, here we go. These are just pictures I'm going to show you of Lovelock Cave. So this is the cave they found inside. This is a platform they built, but we're going to get to the stuff that they found inside. Let me find one of the very good ones. Okay. So this says Lovelock Archaeological Cave was discovered in 1911. And miners who found Indian artifacts in the cave deposits. The find was reported to the University of California, Berkeley, and archaeological investigations began in 1912. Work continued intermittently at the cave through the 1960s. The cave was used by prehistoric people from approximately 2000 BC to historic times, primarily for the storage of tools, foodstuffs, and other supplies. Lovelock Cave is an important place in history, archaeology, and the first cave in the giant basin that was excavated. But see, it's not. Hold on, we're going to find the good stuff here. There's where I got one of the pictures there. Creepy cave with cannibalistic giants. This was a real picture right here. This showing this, and this was a female, I believe, that was reaching at almost 11 feet tall. And that's not gigantism. Now, have you heard of the mounds in West Virginia? When they started excavating the mounds, the huge mounds in West Virginia and around in Ohio, all in that area. They were finding these humongous skeletons that were surrounded by smaller ones. It's just insane when you start looking into it. There it is. Lovelock Cave, red-haired giants of ancient Nevada. Here's you a good picture. So this is what they're talking about. This is one of the lower jawbones. This is a regular human, and this is one of theirs. That's one of our sets of teeth, and in the same, in what's the word I'm looking for, Allison?
What?
When they're in comparison with one of the larger giant jawbones. There's even here's one right here. Look at that skull. This is one of the ones that were pulled out of Lovelock Cave. It's just crazy. Let's see what else we have here. Look, decoy ducks that they had made that they found inside the cave for hunting. Let's see. Here's some of the elongated skulls that they were talking about too. Just insane. Right here. Here's one of the giants of Nevada compared to this gentleman right here. That is just it is insane. So why would the Smithsonian go out of their way to collect all these bones just to destroy them or to say they don't exist or that they have been lost? It makes no sense. Here's this was supposed to be one of a body cast of one of the giants. It's crazy. All right, so I'm just giving y'all the rundown. If you want to do your own research on this, please do. You will find so much on it. The reason I call this a conspiracy and not a conspiracy theory is because there is proof to back it up. We have literal things that back this up. We have proof. We have pictures. We have. There is some skeletons still on display at some museums around the world, especially in Peru. Have you seen the finger in Egypt that they got? Let me pull that up real quick. Hold on a second. Let me search that real quick, and I want to show you something. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Let me share the screen real quick. Check this out. So this right here was a giant finger found in Egypt, and they don't have anything to show the comparison to. But it says Giants Fact or Fiction on it. That's compared to that's a bill right there. So that's a finger compared to a like a dollar bill, an Egyptian dollar bill. Show more pictures of it. It's just it's mind blowing. Now we're gonna go to a video real quick. I'm gonna show you pictures of the Kandahar giant. Thank you guys for being here, for real. I know this doesn't interest a lot of people, but hey, if it does you, it does me. We're going to do it. It's something different. It gets our minds back on track. I'm getting ready to set up this computer tonight. I wanted to do something fun before we do so. Thank you. If you don't care to hit that put your touch DNA on that like button. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Let's see here. American Viking Media. Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it. And we're gonna do a live stream. I wanted uh, to do an interview with you soon. We're gonna do that, buddy. I promise. I promised you before, and we will get that done. Oh, thank you, Inquisitive Jade. Love it. Thank y'all. This is very interesting stuff, and it's real. I mean, this is around the world. Why do they hide these things from us? If they hide things like this, and the Smithsonian would collect these bones and the armor and swords and sledgehammers, like they said, that weigh 60 pounds. Uh, why? I'm sure with the Vikings, I mean, you're talking about, let me see, where is he at? American Viking Media. I'm sure if you go back to your heritage, there's giants involved with the Vikings. It's just insane. The Vikings were the first people. Leif Erikson was the first person to actually find North America, not Christopher Columbus. It was the Vikings. I'm not saying the Vikings are the Nephilim. I'm just saying that the bloodlines could have went into, you never know. They were big men of stature. The bloodlines went into so the rumor was that how the Nephilim escaped the flood is through one of Noah's son's wives had Nephilim blood in her. That was one of the conspiracy theories. That's part of the conspiracy, if that makes sense. Okay, let me pull this up real quick. And everything we use is under fair use, so we are going to look up just a little bit of this story right here. Let me see here. I would show Mr. Ballin's video, but I don't think I'm going to do that. This is only, let's see how long this is. We'll play this one right here. It's only 3 minutes. Let me start it. If you don't know who this guy is right here, you need to. He is amazing. You'll hear his name right here in a minute when we start playing this. This guy is great. Let me share my screen here. Here we go.
In Afghanistan in 2002, and you were called into a very remote section of Afghanistan because a patrol had basically gone missing.
Exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
no
Well,
villages around
nothing
for miles.
Right.
So very remote.
Yeah, very remote. So we flew in. Did about 4 kilometers. We're hiking through the same area where they were supposed to make one of their checkpoints, one of their rally points. And before we left, there was all kinds of what happened with an ambush. But that was even odd because at the point of ambush, we called for maybe close air support, something. Okay. There was no calls made, just off the grid. So we're coming down a mountainside, and it was a nice path, goat path. As we bent around this corner, you could see this opening of the cave. There's a cave as we're coming around. And then I see there's a lot of rocks, which is another oddity, and then bone matter. When I'm not close enough to identify what kind of bones, but I did see something I knew was a piece of our communications equipment. So instantly, we're thinking ambush, maybe animal, could be anything. And there was enough room in front of this cave, but it had a sheer drop-off. But there was enough room that we actually got into a decent dispersal in case of ambush.
You see something coming out of the cave, and it's moving with a speed and agility that catches you off guard.
Everybody.
All right, I have to stop this because of fair use, just because we're going to be doing some we're going to be doing, commentating on it. So what we're seeing right now is a group of soldiers as they are approaching on a call where a former, well, not a former, but a prior group of soldiers was called in to go clear a cave because they thought Al Qaeda or the Taliban had, held up in these caves. So that's where we're at right now. I'll continue it right now.
And he comes out. It was a man at least 12 to 15 feet in height. This is a monster. Red beard, then his hair was long past the shoulder, a scarlet red, and Dan runs at him, starts shooting, which broke all of us into the reality. Because it was
So
surreal.
now your training is kicking.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
muscle memory, complete muscle memory. While Dan is moving at him, another bro of mine's laying down fire, and I start firing. He skewers Dan. He's now got him on this pike. It went through him. And he's still got him, and he's coming after more. We all just clicked in. I don't know what it was, but I remember we're all like, shoot him in the face, shoot him in the face. And our weapons components were M4s, we had 308s, and we had Barrett 50s. This is sounding longer than it took. We're talking 30 seconds. And he's taking multiple hits, and is still moving.
He talked about
Yeah, so there's that. There's a longer version, and it talks about them, where they had to load him up. And I'm gonna find that real quick. We're gonna go. We need to watch that part too. Give me just a second. Here it is, right here.
Dan was.
I think the cat just farted.
Excuse me?
Did you hear it?
No, I didn't.
I think so. I think that just happened.
Allie just said that she thinks the cat just farted. And I was like, well, that's great.
I'm sorry. I had to share that. I couldn't be the only one that heard that. What the heck?
All right, here's part 2.
Okay. And why is a good man, probably one of the best men I know, now dead. Before I'd left, they were already starting what they call a 9-line, which is a medevac request. They're sending out a medevac request, then all of a sudden it's not a medevac request. All of a sudden we had a helicopter show up because, like I told you, it was a large precipice and a sheer drop. So the helicopter just came up from the drop. They had dropped netting, which is like cargo netting. It's like squares. We were told we had to bundle him up. And we get another bigger helicopter, but it's almost like a Jolly Green Giant used to look back in the day that could get, through this area. Because the mountains, you got to remember, Chinooks could only go in certain places because they had enough lift. Mm-hmm. And so we got him on there. The thing was too big. We couldn't move it. It's just in a skunk. A corpse that's been around for a while.
Really fell.
Oh, it was like a combination because of the, how do you put that, the persistence of a skunk smell. But once the helicopter came in, dropped its little hook, and off he goes. The communication was sent out. We had a very large, possible human creature.
There you are in the hills of Afghanistan. How many troop members are you with?
we had 6 on my crew. And when we say hills of Afghanistan, for us, we did not fly into the wilderness. We actually flew into a base. I guess this thing was transloaded out of the mountains by a CH-47. But I could see that it did have the 6 fingers. I remember taking my foot up and placing it up next to its foot, and it was extremely large.
Did you hear that? That's the main part too that you need to listen to. He said the 6 fingers, 6 toes. This isn't the only time that this has been reported in Afghanistan. There's caves there that these giants are worshipped as gods, and that there's stuff that goes to Egypt. There's a lot to look into. If you want to go down this hole, it's worth it. It's worth it to if you want something that really brings your attention. Um, I suggest looking into it. We're gonna finish it right now. I just have to do this for commentary due to fair use.
Estimated at about 12 feet, give or take. What I can tell you is the weight of the thing. Basically, it was approximately 1,500 pounds when it was getting on the aircraft. Now, if you take away the pallet weight and all the rigging that we had to hold this thing down, we figured it was around 1,100 pounds.
Of course, we're upset. That's a given. Okay. We lost a very good guy. But add to that, you're discussing something that even in our after action report, they're saying rewrite it. And we had to rewrite it the way they wanted.
How many fingers?
Six
Six fingers
toes.
and 6 toes.
And the nails were weird because if you see somebody that ever has, I don't know what it's called, but it's
Like a fungus on
the nails, how they get pointy and they're like gnarly. That's what they look like.
Dude, how crazy is that? Is that not amazing? Like these stories right here, they blow my mind. There's many people that cover this, and I want to remember their names, and I'm having such a hard time remembering it right now. Um, shoot, I used to look at this stuff like daily. I'm trying to think of the names of the people for you guys to follow. Um, the Genesis 6 conspiracy is the great book. I cannot uh, tell you enough how good that book is. Let me go get that real quick and I'll show it to you. Give me just a second. Did I just unplug everything? Yeah, I did. We good? Okay. Let me go get this book real quick. Showing this book because the Genesis 6 conspiracy. Okay. This book right here, The Genesis 6 Conspiracy by Gary Wayne, very good book. I would suggest everybody read this. This gives you the full download. It is a very big book, but it's a very good book. It will really educate you on so much. Trying to think of the other guys. LeBrier, what's the other guy's names? Steve Quayle, Tom Horn. Yes, thank you, LeBrier. The guy that was just now talking right there. Gosh, my brain. You guys have to check that stuff out. It's very good. So what I'm gonna do right now is we're gonna get to some discussion on this. I think it'll be good. So I'm gonna put the link here. Let you guys come up, talk to me about it. There you go. There's the link, LeBrier. If you want to come up and talk about it, I know you're interested in this. Mad Dog Bob Holiday said these nuts. Oh, that's great. These nuts on your chin, son. Yeah, I know. I'll hear that one. People. Let's see if anybody wants to come up and talk about it. We will. Who said, what's it? Oh, gosh, because I said that. That's what. I mean, I have to hear it constantly. People always saying something stupid. So, I mean, I got to come back for it. Grace Slick Sherry Weeks is all I know. It's so bad. So, Susan H., there is a book called The Neph. I actually have it. There's a beer right there.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you, man.
Awesome, buddy. How are you, sir?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. So, hey, you know how like the Indians ran into a lot of the giants, obviously?
Yeah.
So, did you know that, you know, how when the Indians, they raised their right hand, how they would count the fingers on who they were saying how to see if they had 5 or 6 fingers?
Yeah, it's that goes into the what is that area of where they just the Asazi?
Yeah, I was saying, yeah, I can't always mess it up myself, too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Asazis, man, they just disappeared off the face of the earth, and they believe it's because they were eaten.
Yeah, and it was just, yeah, and it just left everything.
It's insane. Like these like I knew these conspiracy shows right here aren't going to be as popular as whatever, but they're fun for me. I love it.
Oh, big time too. And I always try to tell people, like, if you don't understand Genesis 6:4 and what they're talking about, in my opinion, you really can't even understand the whole, you know, the Old Testament, because I
Yeah.
mean, it honestly, it's like the Rosetta Stone. You know what I mean? It's just, yeah,
It is. And if
it's
people
everything.
haven't
Yeah.
read the actual Book of Enoch, not the one that has been, you know, pushed to be there's different versions of it. You have to be
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
careful. And there's the evil versions. But then, when they were sending a lot of pastors into seminary, they were trying to teach them that the sons of God were the sons of Seth.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, no, because I mean,
Where does
yeah,
that make any kind of sense?
it doesn't at all. And I've
Right.
even had, like, when I started, you know, even in the church I was going to, where I was helping with the recovery groups and stuff, man, I tried to bring this stuff up, and I mean, they weren't having it. Some, they were like, no, that's
Oh
not.
yeah, for sure.
They argued me down. I'm like, but it's not, if you take it for what it is literally saying. And I showed them the verses that backed it up. I'm like, even in the story of Job, when, you know, it says when Satan goes up to heaven to ask if he asks God if he can destroy Job, and he says, you can do whatever, just don't kill him.
Yep.
And it was talking about, it said all the sons of God, they all cheered, which who would be in, it's not going to be men in heaven, sons of God.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah. But then there's the argument in the New Testament. They say after Jesus died on the cross that we all became sons of God. But under the new covenant, it's a lot. It's hard if people are just now following it to. Okay, she said who? Mad Dog Bob Holiday said who that effing is Seth. Seth is one of the sons of Adam. And Adam, you know, the first man that God created, Adam and Eve. So, you know, Cain, Abel, and Seth. Seth was supposed to. So that's, you want to help me with that?
What's that?
With Seth and explaining who Seth.
On that, you probably do a better job than and that's the other thing too, man. I've got to get back in my book.
I do too.
I haven't.
Man.
Yeah,
it's just that seminary has wanted to stay away from this subject. They don't want, because when you go, there's a lot of good theologists, like you said. Tom Horn was one of them. Man, he's amazing.
he is. Like when it comes to giants, I think Steve Quayle is kind of like and they're also good, but it's like Steve Quayle is kind of like even Tom Horn and those Gary Wayne, and they'll go to Steve Quayle.
Yeah.
Like he was one of the first ones that really dove into it. And then Quail
He's
Quail brought in a guy, a younger kid, Timothy
Timothy. He is
Everneath something. He's good too.
dude. He's amazing. I've watched a
Yes.
lot on him. There, it's very informative, and that's those guys right there. They went to the areas. They're talking about. In that first little video I played at the beginning of this, dude, I played a video where I showed Machu Picchu and where, like we were talking about, where the blocks fit so tightly and precisely together. It's like they were clay at one point in time, like they were molded. And how big these boulders were to build these walls. Like what else could lift that? And to build those things, and that's they've sent those guys. Timothy, I've got to think of his last name for everybody.
Abernathy or something like that, isn't it?
I'll find it right.
Yeah, I can look it up in a minute. But so like it it says Genesis refers to Seth as the ancestor of Noah and the father of all mankind. But
Timothy Alberino.
Navarino, that's what it is. Yeah, yeah, he's really good too. There's another guy too that breaks the Bible down in like a timeline, and it's pretty cool. The giants and all that stuff. But a lot of the professors, they ask college kids and that. Well, if your God, so good, how could he in the Old Testament? How could he, say, hey, slaughter all the women, children, everything? And some people don't know how to answer that. Well, what they don't realize is they were the Nephilim. He wasn't just going, say, hey, go, slaughter innocent, women and children and everybody. They were the Nephilim, so they had to wipe out that area.
That's what he's and what Breer's talking about is when God commanded Joshua after they came into the land of Canaan. It's when they marched around Babylon, all that. It's when they told them to wipe out all those races. That's when the verse that says that the men stood.
We're like grasshoppers.
Yeah, it's the size of grasshoppers.
Yeah.
And they were able to overpower these race of giants. Now there's different ones. They said that there was all
the ites, all the different ites were
had the heads of like lions and stuff. They had those too. It's weird. In the Bible, I try to take it very specifically what it means.
You have to, for sure. And if you think about it, the wars that God, led them through, just, crazy wars to where like, but just a normal circumstance, you wouldn't have had a chance, to where they're just, few people wiping out, just thousands and thousands of people, and they're listening to God doing all that. And then, when he sees the giants, he's like, oh, I'm out. So, I mean, imagine just that you just, we're destroying, army after army. You see these giants and God's telling you, no, I got you, go over. And he's like, no, I'm out. So, I mean, that kind of tells you, too, how big they were. It's just like, yeah.
Humongous, man. And the land of Canaan, that's where they had taken over and that's why they wanted to wipe them out, because that was the promised land, and that's why they had to take them out. They had tried, and like I said earlier, this was, if people want to research into it in the Bible, this was Satan's way of trying to sneer at God and say that his creation would be better. That's and before the flood, that when they talk about the Nephilim, they're talking about giants that were 3 times 4 times the size of the ones after the flood.
Pre-flood, I mean, they're talking, the size of cedar trees, 26, 30 feet tall and bigger.
Yeah. And that's where, and look, there's even proof to even back that. Have you seen that, like the mountains, like they look like that they are like there's rock formations and stuff that look like giants.
I know exactly what you're talking about. And some of them too, it's like it looks like a tree, cut in half, and it's a mountain or whatever. It's really neat. I've got a video here. I'm going to try and find and send you. I'm pretty sure.
Play it.
I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it, so I don't want to mess anything up. I'm pretty sure they said like it was the film and that was studied. Said yes, it's it's true, and it's one of the last kind of known giants, and it was in China. when you see this guy compared to everybody else, it's like,
Oh,
oh
the
my
one that's
God,
walking
where he's
through the
walking like in a
parade.
diaper or something or whatever. Yeah, it's like, just, I watch it sometimes just like 10, 15 times over, pause, and you're looking at it and you're like, he's literally like bigger than the roof. You know what I mean? It's just like, because there's a building behind him. It's like, he's bigger than the roof. I mean, can you imagine?
Let me see if I can find that. It's was it Japanese or Chinese?
I don't remember. The other day I found I was on a roll on YouTube and it was just like giant thing after giant thing after giant thing. So I just kept forwarding them to myself. I got a bunch of them right in a row.
Giant China China I said giant China giant vid. Let's see. There, I found it. Yeah,
Okay, perfect. Yeah, it's crazy.
yeah, when y'all see this right here, guys, there's two of them. This one was 4 years ago. Let's see how long. 2 minutes. And I'm gonna just play this one right here.
I like that LA Marzulli too, who you had up. He's a really cool guy too.
L.A. Marzulli. I could not think of his name to save my life, but he is amazing.
Yeah.
You guys check this out right here. This one, right? It was Japanese. It was a Giant of Japan military parade. So yeah, this one right here is gonna blow your mind.
I mean, look at the guy on the horse. He doesn't even come up to his waist.
Look at him back there. No neck. Look at him laying back here.
This is an authentic and real old footage of a true certain giant individual from Japan, walking in some military parade. What's shocking about it is his actual size. He has a stature of at least 4 meters high, which is minimum 13 in feet. Thus, he is genuinely taller and more massive than each and every other original NBA player, for example, like Shaquille O'Neal or Yao Ming. This is a testimony and evidence to what the Bible says about Nephilim. So, you got your proof. Now, for your own sake, please save your soul from hell.
Isn't that's crazy to me though. Dude. Yeah, somebody said if we asked L.A. Marzulli, I think you're muted, LeBreer.
I was looking something up. Yeah, I seen that. What they say, something like LA would come, like on the show.
Yeah, somebody said if I reached out to him that he might come on. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I bet if he had time, he would. I mean, he seems like a super, super nice guy.
That would be amazing. I might try to line that up.
Was it him or Tom Horn? I'm pretty sure it was him that his house burnt down.
Tom Horn.
Was it Tom Horn? I thought it was L.A. Marzulli too, because that's why he just recently moved. But
did
he like
too.
his
They both
whole collection, like that he's just had for years and years and years of, all the studies and just everything on giant and just everything just gone.
both
It's
of
like,
them, both
yeah,
of
it's
their houses that
crazy.
went up. That's not a
Coincidence?
coincidence. And he was
Yeah.
talking about the California fires, how that, and he was one of the first ones to talk about how it was like targeting like cars. It would melt like a car down to the straight, just liquid. And he was like I don't know. He was L.A. Marzulli. He's trying to, he tries to stay factual, but he's like, dude, he's like, what am I supposed to think when the house on either side of me doesn't burn? Then my house is down,
Right. It's like, come on, my life's not that bad, right?
yeah, it's insane, man. These people, and they do, and I mean, if they do not want this information out, and I don't know why, and people were like, they were warning me. They were like, you do a video on this. They were like, you could risk your channel. I'm like, I'm not doing anything but showing what's already out there. If that's a problem, so be it. I mean, the truth is the truth. There is too much proof that backs up this story, especially. I mean, this conspiracy, which I've tried to lay it out there. There's a big difference between a conspiracy theory and a conspiracy. And that's why he didn't name this the Genesis 6 conspiracy. He names it, he doesn't name it Genesis 6 conspiracy theory. He names it the Genesis 6 conspiracy because there's too much evidence that backs it up. It's crazy, man. You
Well,
got
and
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. I'm sorry. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm good. Go ahead.
What I was going to say, is almost every culture, civilization, religion, almost every one of them, have stories of the flood and stories of the giants. And I mean, this is, almost every, culture out there and civilization out there. And it's not like, there's, phones and emails, and, they couldn't talk to each other. And, they all just have these stories of floods and giants,
Yeah.
almost
it's very-
every single religion and and culture out there. It's crazy.
well, they say
It has to tell you
Gilgamesh.
something.
Somebody asked for me to show the picture of Gilgamesh, and so that goes into the Sumerian, all the Sumerian uh, beliefs, and which I'm not going to argue it. There's a lot of stuff that factually backs up Sumerian belief to the Bible. They worship these things as gods. That's what the difference was. Now the
Yes.
Sumerians now that's where all the ancient alien stuff goes into. Now you got to be very careful with where you go and where you follow there, because you can get down a rabbit hole for sure. But it's I think they're hiding history from a lot of us. And why is that? If you somebody asked me about the whole Bigfoot connection with the Nephilim, there's a book by, I have it back here. I just can't get behind my green screen right now. His name is he's from Tennessee. He's from right around Knoxville. That's what he believes. He has this whole theory that if they exist, which he 100% believes they do, that they're part of a Nephilim bloodline, because it says when fallen angels came down, they didn't just sin against. It says they did not just miscegenate against
They
humans,
sin against everything. Yeah.
every living thing. So they were breeding with everything, sinning against if there was
Animals.
sin,
Yeah.
and they were and because of their, I guess because of their bloodline, and that being sons of God, that those things worked out. It's scary.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they were angels. You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
Just kind of
it's
they couldn't die. You know what I'm saying? God made them, that way before us, and it just it's crazy. But and if you look at these stones that were quarried in that, like I think the largest one that they found not too long ago in Lebanese, it was 64 feet by 19.6 feet by 18 feet, weighing 1,650 50 tons. Like, we don't have equipment today that could move that stuff. You know what I mean? And
No,
it's just crazy.
there's no way to explain. And they've said that there was technology, which I do believe, with the sound, that if we could figure out sound, that's how they were moving things. And they had their have you seen the stuff in South Africa they're finding rocks that are like, because they're saying after a flood, body parts would be, if they were underwater, they would become, it'd be more like petrified.
Right.
So they're finding hearts with chambers and stuff that are this big, and they're saying that it's just like a human heart. Now, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but that guy right there, man, he has a whole museum and he's doing big things in South Africa with it. I just, like I said, I thought this would be fun. If y'all want to switch gears a little bit, I know you were wanting to talk to me on some stuff. We can.
Oh yeah, no, whatever. Yeah, you know, you can always take it to the Smithsonian. I hear they take good care of them.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But it is kind of funny though that too. If you look, and when places pop up, that are, you always see the Catholic Church. They move right in and get all the land and build over stuff. I'd love to be able to see what they have in their archives.
Oh my gosh, dude! Yeah, the hidden archives of
Yeah.
they're the ones that have picked and choose the books of the Bibles. The ones that they feel, and I don't think that's right. I feel like if they should put the canon out in full, it should be the Dead Sea Scrolls, everything that they have. It should be in full for everybody. But they pick and choose what they want you to read every time. Like you said, an archaeological dig happens. There's a Catholic church that is
Yep.
built right on top of it. That's not. I'm not getting into. I know there's a lot of people that are Catholic, and I'm not trying to go against anybody's belief. I'm just saying that's just a proof. And Sardinia is a big place where they found many human. Well, I'm not going to say human, but giant skeletons and these chambers where they said that the youth would go lay on top of the bones to absorb the powers of these giants. It's crazy. Sardinia, I'm trying to think of the other places. They say that the Cyclops that they wrote about in the Iliad and the Odyssey,
Right.
that could have possibly, he was writing about a real thing. Um, I'm trying, dude. There's just so much, dude.
Well, they're saying too that part of the the war in that is that they had some of the Nephilim genes and bloodlines, and they were one of the reasons they went and got all that. It's it's kind of crazy. Some of you can definitely go down some rabbit holes, but it's interesting. I haven't. It's kind of cool too because I haven't really dug into this in probably 2 or 3 years, but it just kind of all
Same.
pops up. Yeah.
I've got some other ones that I'm planning on doing. Like we're gonna go into the JFK stuff again. I love it. I've actually got some of the newer stuff that's come out about JFK, even though they said Trump released it and it was all what they said it was, and it was just whatchamacallit by himself. I don't believe that. We're gonna go into
Harry or what's his name? I almost said Harry Truman.
I do every time
Yeah.
every time I do a show, my brain does this. Shoot.
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah.
They tried to say he was by himself. Well, there is so much more that goes to that, and I've got a detailed kind of thing I've been working on and putting together. So I've got some stuff planned. The Gulf of Tonkin, that was a real conspiracy. We that's called a false flag. People don't believe in them.
Oh.
They happen all the time.
Well, you know what the biggest business in the world is, don't you? It's the war business. It truly is. It's crazy.
It is. It's profiteering off both sides of the war.
look at Pearl Harbor. They knew they were coming. It's just, but they had to. They do things like that to start wars. 9/11.
Yep. Operation Northwoods, that was a big one that they were going to drop bombs out on our own soil, which they believe, a lot of people believe 9/11 right there it was.
Yeah.
There's a lot of proof to back that up too. I mean, that's a
Oh
very,
man, there's so much stuff on that. It's crazy.
it's too
Yeah, I
much.
mean, just all the short sales that were going on. I mean, just yeah, it's just come on.
Look at the Vegas shooting that happened. Man, that made no sense. And then what happens when it doesn't make sense? They get brushed under the rug real quick. I always find that when something has happened that the government's been a part of, and then they try to go another direction because they try to just all media about it shuts down. You can't find anything on it. Um, Dude, that's another one I want to cover that we're going to be doing. I think this will be good. I think it'll be. I got to find a good day of the week that'll be good for this. That people will kind of want it. I'll ask right now. Let me see if I can do a poll.
Yeah, I love learning. Like even if I don't know, like I don't know a whole lot about JFK thing. I mean, I've watched like different, things on, hour long thing and this and that, and they show, different angles and things of that nature and this conspiracy, that conspiracy. I don't know a whole lot on it, but yeah, I mean, I love learning stuff like that.
So, what do you think about? We'll switch gears here. So, what were you gonna? What do you think? I know you had a lot to weigh in on.
Oh yeah, the one thing, and I was it was kind of funny that you're talking about it with Harsh yesterday on who not wanting AEW to come and search. One thing I just that kills me is how can anybody say, oh, she's not there? Well, here, how do you know that she's not there? I'm tired of hearing definites when we don't know where this little girl is, and it's been, what, 15 months now, or oh, that's longer than that, right? Or 15, 16 months, whatever it is. It's just,
Yeah,
how can you say she's not there? She's not, how do you know that? That's an absolute to me. I mean, if I say, hey, my dog's not in my room right now, it's because I'm in my room and he's not in here. He's in the living room. I can see him in there.
right.
It's just, why wouldn't this from the very beginning, with Kingsport and that, with the way the lands are passed down from generation to generation to generation, everybody's related, everybody knows everybody. That is such a conflict of interest, for Hawkins County, Ronnie Lawson to be handling that case. So I said that from the get go. It just even if let's say there is no problem there, they're the most up and up, most upstanding, law enforcement ever. They still don't have the resources. And when I say resources, I'm talking manpower and money. Why wouldn't you want, the FBI to come in and solve
Well,
this case?
that's what my argument was yesterday. I said, how can you complain that you don't have the funds? If Hawkins County does not have the funds, then turn the lead of the investigation over to the TBI where they do have the funds to do it. How they're like, Hawkins County is hurting on funds. They don't have enough to get out here and do these searches and do this. Well, their lead on the investigation, I called and found that out from the TBI. They were like, oh, we're just assisting. Well, if Hawkins County can't afford it, then turn it over to somebody who can. Um, they won't though. But then we talked about last night. As soon as they said that we talked about that email with them saying that Summer's not in the water. Um, the next like day or so, then the TBI comes out with, well, we have our divers. They've been out doing this and clearing that. I actually wanted to share something with you guys. So the people that didn't want to join this one,
They had their divers,
yeah,
Now
people.
on that scares me. And we can go into the Kylie Rodney thing here in a little bit. I've got so much stuff on that.
Well, I got a
Yeah,
text
go
message
ahead.
last night after that live was over, and this was from the private investigators. So people that thought this was all going to be about conspiracy files, you're missing out on something.
Hey, I'm
So
gonna use the restroom real quick while you're doing that. I'll be right back.
yeah, you're good. So the PIs sent me a text message last night. They said, hey, did want you to know we have contacted AWP. We have hundreds plus of acres with ponds and or waterways on them that we have permission for. We've been working hard on this. We are hoping to bridge the gap of LE and AWP. We, like everyone, want summer found. She said, we've been clearing really small ponds ourselves with Jason telling us how to do those. That's Jason from Need a Diver. So they're paying attention. So if that's, and she said this after she says, I know we fought for EquiSearch and won. And that's a fact. Law enforcement didn't want EquiSearch coming in. I do know that the private investigators did get them in there and got EquiSearch by doing the, by doing the recon for certain areas. She said, so we're trying with the lead detectives, trust us and do listen. They do trust us and listen to what we have to say. Not always agree with us, but they do listen. We are trying. That's the text message I got last night. So,
And is this this is the PIs that for Summer Wells, is correct?
yeah.
Okay. Now, who's paying them? Are they just doing it pro bono, or
they took it pro bono? I think they had to do a $15, like I think they even covered it themselves just to have something in writing. I think they paid $15 out of their own pocket to say, hey, this is the contract agreement. They took it pro bono and they've done all this. I worked with them very early on, searched with them for many months. And, I know that they have done a lot. There's been a lot of things that I didn't agree with as far as the way law enforcement wanted to handle things, especially with finding campsites and things like that. They just showed no interest, just like they didn't show any interest in the AWP coming in. I was going to play a video from last night from that I played about Adventures with Purpose, and kind of what you were saying about how they said they're not going to take anybody's word just for it, because it's hold on, she just posted it. Hold on, I didn't know she posted this. Let me play this one real quick.
is that the PI? I can't see it on that right now.
Hold on.
I'm hoping that they don't find nothing. I know they're not going to.
Hold on. This is a new video that Amanda Esfida had posted, and I'm going to play it real quick. This is from Adventures with Purpose, and this is what the Jalissa Fuentes case that they're doing. Let me play this real quick. This is just showing where AWP says we don't care who tells us not to look where. We're not going to say that there's nothing there till we get to go over it ourselves. And I thought that was pretty awesome of them. Here we go.
I'm hoping that they don't find anything. I know they're not going to find anything, but if she's out there, then we want her. So very anxious.
Jalissa's family has been searching Pine Flat for days, but Adventures with Purpose has a dive team that can check areas others can't.
It's very hard for us. We have that missing piece, and we're not going to be happy or complete until she's home.
Community members donated all sorts of snacks and drinks for AWP's volunteers. The Fuentes family and others spent the day collecting the donated goods and organizing them into gift baskets.
Just so humbled, We're so honored, and just my niece is we just can't wait to just for her to see all this, to see the community and to see that they took the time to come out for her, and for our family.
Center of the Holiday Inn in Selma donated 3 free rooms for each night the volunteers are here.
Selma Mayor Scott Robertson and Selma City Council member Sarah Guerra offered up their offices as a drop-off point for donations since it's central to town. Both are doing this as individuals, not in an official capacity representing the city.
This is why we got involved in public service in the first place, which which was to help and to make a difference.
One thing about Selma, California is when there is a missing child or tragic like this, our community comes together.
Hi, thank you. We appreciate it.
And everybody is family to us.
Local restaurants like China Garden and La Estrella in Selma, plus Mirin de Tierra and Sanger are offering the rescuers free meals.
China Garden donated a meal for your family tonight.
Oh, okay.
So I
Thank
went
you
and picked
guys.
it up. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much.
So I'm just so sorry. She said our prayer. Okay.
Keep praying. They've been a blessing. Get a lot of support, a lot of messages, a lot of texts. A lot of my friends, a lot of complete strangers have been reaching out to us. They send me prayers. They send me. I read them all. I can't answer all of them. There's so many, but I read them all, and it gives me strength to keep going.
The volunteers from Adventures with a Purpose will be here for 3 days. After that, they're going straight to San Luis Obispo to help another family.
You want to go for it? Go.
Yeah.
I'm not ready yet.
Just for the record, first and last name and spell it for
Doug Bishop, DOUGBISHOP. Nick Rin, NICKRINN.
This is the back part of Avocado Lake. There's a pair of slides here, but I think hers were black. I don't think they were blue. These are blue. This is right by the Kings River. Okay, so check this out. There are a pair of socks back here. These look like polo socks. They look like low-cut polo socks. And I don't think she had polo socks on she has black socks on, but I don't think it's polo. There's a towel. But I mean, there is a lot of homeless activity back here, so I don't know.
Hey, can you pause it real quick, Cam? On things like that, I think sometimes you only get one chance, especially when it comes to evidence. Oh, hold on, I just dropped my earbuds. Sorry.
No, you're
You only
good.
get one. You only get one chance sometimes when it comes to evidence, and obviously, you gotta be very careful. Picking things up. You want to. If there's
Yes.
no law enforcement, you got to have somebody, filming you while you're doing it. But if it's just you and one other person, there's not law enforcement around. Have take pictures where it's at, filming you doing it. But have the plastic gloves on going into a new sealed plastic or Ziploc bag or whatever. But because and I know what you're gonna say. I wasn't there, and I even just know what you're gonna say when you found those things, and then they weren't they riding dirt bikes or something.
Well, no, I was just gonna say when you find something, you should not touch it whatsoever. You flag it off and you step away.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
but so if they're just gonna, well, I don't know if they are polo socks. Well, you know what? If you don't know, instead of just leaving it there, and I'm not, like trying to say she did anything. I'm just saying in general, get it collected because you go there tomorrow and it may not be there. Or like the instance you had where you're like you found some things. You're like, man, I don't know. This might look like it might be something, and then those people on the land and they come there like. Dirt bikes or something started tearing through it or something.
Yeah, they rode on it as soon as we walked back to the road. Yeah, we told them not to. Like said, law enforcement was on their way to pick it up, but then law enforcement didn't even come for 3 days. 3 days before they went to collect that. Now, I don't care what you think or what they. I'm sorry. That's negligence. That should be police negligence. And if I ever have a chance to testify on anything in this case, I will testify to that they did not go pick up evidence when it was reported that it was there. Potential. I'm not going to say evidence. I'm going to say
potential. Yeah,
potential.
But you don't know unless you test it and things of that nature.
But it had white stains on it. It was weird. It was something, and for people that lived on that property to immediately try to destroy it, that's a problem. So, I don't know. I don't know where to go with that.
Yeah, I agree. Especially, I always try to put myself in someone else's shoes, and try and look at it from their perspective too. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure that I'm not sure because I didn't live there, but just guessing, assuming, I'm sure that the people of in that area were just bombarded with everything. I'm sure they're just getting aggravated. Outsiders coming in and doing this and that. I'm sure they probably did just want to get rid of to leave us alone kind of thing.
The thing
But
where we
again, it's
were
a
at,
5-year-old little girl.
the thing where we were at, though, we were with the private investigators on a piece of property that no one had ever allowed to let people come in and search yet, and it was on Light Hollow Road, which connects very closely just over a hill to Ben Hill Road. And that's where things were found. Those things should have been found, those things should have been priority. That campsite was on Simpson Road, right behind Ben Hill, where not 960 feet. Why is that not priority? It blows my mind. It really does. And to this day, dude, I can't. We haven't been able to have a conversation with an investigator. We've tried multiple times. We'll call you back. We'll call you back. They don't care. And that's the only way I know how to put it. Is and it's Hawkins County. I've tried to call TBI as well. They're the ones too that said, we'll have an investigator. This is good information. We'll have an investigator call you back. Never. So
I know you're working with Need a Diver. I don't know if it was a lot or how much or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing I've never really went on to Google Earth and hey, here's a lake, and here's water. Have you kind of looked at multiple different water areas around there?
Yeah.
Is there a bunch?
Did you hear this is the text that I got from the PIs last night. It said, "Hey, we want you to know that we have contacted AWP. We have hundreds plus acres with ponds and or waterways on them that we have permissions for. We've been working hard on this. We are hoping to bridge the gap and of LE and AWP. We like everyone else want some are found." And she said, "We have been clearing small ponds ourselves with Jason from Need a Diver telling us how to do those."
Yeah, and obviously before knowing this, yesterday what I was thinking is, it seems like Don B knows, several people in the area living there, and that. Are you pretty close to them, or how far are you? And don't obviously give your exact or anything.
Or what to
the wells?
About 35-45 minutes.
Okay, so not too bad. What I was thinking is, and obviously, I can't say enough, nice things about Adventures with Purpose. I think they're phenomenal in what they do, but I also completely understand, not wanting to cross law enforcement in any way. And I mean, if you watch their videos, you hear them say it multiple times. Hey, we're here to make you look like rock stars, things of that nature. So I can understand, where Jared wouldn't want to, come and start looking without permission. What I was almost thinking is, maybe Don B and you, whatever, other locals, whatever, actually just went to people that had, lakes or whatever. Hey, do you mind if we search your pond, get permission? And then not that they're searching that day, but, start kind of getting a, list. Hey, we have, 10 properties here that, they all allow you to, search next time you're in Tennessee, can you guys go through there? Because if, let's say you have, property next to the wells or whatever, and you got a lake. If you want to give them permission, that's your land. There's nothing that, they could do at that point.
Exactly.
Because it seems to me that, and I can only imagine that, I have no idea why Lawson wouldn't, have, different companies and that come in and help. My thinking is here, we're a small place, no money, obviously. We'll take any assistance that we can get. To me, it's not a contest on who's better. It's hey, let's get this little girl home as fast as we can, working together no matter what it takes. You know, that's the way I look at it. I don't know why
Exactly right.
it's not like that. But
This
you know,
this right
with
here.
what Hacken did with Kylie's, you know, to where they searched for 2 weeks and said it was cleared, 20,000 man hours, and it wasn't. And I'm familiar with the
Yeah.
like when you're done showing this or whatever, we can get into that. Well, here, finish this, and then we'll go into that. Go ahead.
No, I just was gonna show right. Okay, so right here is the pond that you can't even see from Google Maps that there's a pond here. There's a pond right there. That is one that we got Need a Diver in on to dive on and to make sure was checked. Now from that area right there to, and also that's the same area where we found something that people rode on with dirt bikes. From that area to Summer's house right there, that is 1.17 kilometers. That's how far that is. And that had not been searched. Now, there, and not to even count this big one right here, which Adventures with or not Adventures with Purpose, but Need a Diver had went and cleared before we even knew. Um, there's that. There's just two of them. Now, if we go down this way to Fields Road, check this out. This is insane right here. Hold on a second. Hey. Okay. So right here is a pond. Let me find it right quick. This is on Fields Road. Right there is one. There's another one that sits right back in here somewhere. There's another one that sits right in this place right here. There is, and that's not even, people were saying, oh, what about South Holston Lake? And what about this? I'm like, well, South Holston Lake, yes, it does have they have a whole town under it. They flooded. The town was called Alvarado. It is huge, and it's on the Sullivan County side. There are waterways here that have not been searched, and there's no way that they can say for 100% that child is not in the water, unless they know for a fact something that I just don't see it. But go ahead, man.
Yeah, that's one of the things I wanted to ask you. And obviously, it's just opinion. I really expect your opinion. Just the research you do is amazing. But plus, you were also there. I think that's big. What do you think the reason is for Lawson like being like that? Do you think he has something to hide? It just he's afraid something else will come up that might be a little moneymaker on the side he doesn't want to know, or do you think he's still working? I mean, it's just so weird to say stuff's not there. But even like with you hear the Wells, you're not going to find her, and JSP, you're not going to find her. What do you mean you're not going to find her?
Yeah.
These absolutes and things like that. Just it makes no sense to me.
I don't understand how they can say things like that. And it's like what I was talking about it with Jody Sue this morning. Like everything seems to be a stunt with her. She was live at 8:00 this morning.
Still I have a bunch of stuff on that we can go over in private and that. But yeah, and then I'm gonna actually be doing a video on it that I think is gonna bring a lot of stuff full circle with her.
Yeah, it's crazy. Look, we're going on hour and 40 minutes. I'm gonna close this one down. We'll do another one where people have the idea. I might do another one tonight on if you want to join on that one. That way people, and I'll have a title so people will know it's not the conspiracy stuff we'll talk about.
Yeah, if you want to do the Kylie Rodney, I know like the exact equipment that AEW uses, things of that nature, and there's a ton of stuff I have, and my brother, he's a detective. We're been kind of following and talking about it. When AEW came in and found it in 35 minutes, my brother's jaw dropped. He's like, holy shit, I can't believe that wasn't officially like cleared to where they knew for a fact that that she wasn't in there. But
American Viking Media, email me and we'll set up an interview for you to come up and we'll talk, or we can do it on your channel. I'll come over on yours. Okay. Yeah, man, we'll do that. I'll talk to you. I'll send you an email when we get done with this one.
Yeah, or I sent you my number. Text me too. That's it. It's a lot easier too.
Okay.
And I BK's had my number. I won't ever give anybody's information out or anything like that. I'm not like that.
All right.
Yep. Awesome, buddy. But yeah, I appreciate you having me up. And then, man, if you ever need me to like help you look anything up or whatever, man, let me know. I'm at home all the time. I can't do anything right now with what I got going on health wise and that. So it kind of keeps my mind busy, and if I can help somebody else while I'm sitting here, it helps. Yep. Awesome, buddy. I really appreciate you having me up. Thank you, sir.
Right.
Bye, everybody in chat as well. Bye.
All right, guys. Yeah, thank you, Labria, for coming up. Guys, thank you. I hope you enjoyed this. I tried to put as much of the little stuff as I could to go over and just try to get the gist of the conspiracy stuff. We're going to get more in depth. I want to play that video again that I made at the beginning for y'all. If you missed it, we'll play that real quick just so for people that maybe just came in, see what you think about it. And go back and watch it if you haven't. I tried to keep it short so people could go back and watch it. There's that, guys. I'll pray and we're going to get out of here. Thank y'all so much for being here. I appreciate you so much. I love y'all to death. Thank y'all for joining us on this. I know a lot of people probably don't like the conspiracy file things, but that's okay. We do. We love it. Let's pray and let's roll out. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for what you do. Thank you for bringing, life into our bodies every day for us to be able to start a new day. Thank you for the love that you give us for one another. Let us continue to spread love and not hate. Let us be people of substance instead of people of just anger and hate. God, you're amazing. You love us when we don't deserve to be loved, and you're there for us when we don't deserve it. Lord, thank you for never turning your back on us. God, we ask for a hedge of protection around all these families involved, even protection over Jody Sue's family, over her and her mental well-being. God, we might not agree with everything, but we just ask that the truth be known and put conviction on the hearts of people that might have answers to Michael Vaughn's case, to Summer Wells' case, to Jalissa Fuentes' case, Kylie Roderick case, to all these cases, Lord, that there needs to be answers and somebody to be brought to justice. We pray these things in your mighty name. Amen. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. That's all I got for tonight. Remember, at the end of the day, everybody wants justice. You gonna say it? But justice doesn't have to be carried out with hate. We love y'all. We'll catch you on the next one. We might do something again later tonight. I don't know. We'll see what's up. We will catch you next time. Till next time, keep on cracking. God bless.